Did you know that one of the most reluctant prophets in the Bible ended up sparking one of the greatest revivals in history? This is the story of Jonah, a man who ran from God but couldn't outrun his mercy. Jonah, a prophet of God, lived during a time when the Israelites viewed themselves as God's chosen people and saw their enemies as undeserving of his grace. One day, God gave Jonah a shocking command: "Go to the great city of Nineveh and preach against it, because its wickedness has come up before me." Nineveh was the capital of Assyria, a ruthless empire notorious for its violence and cruelty. Instead of obeying, Jonah fled in the opposite direction, boarding a ship bound for Tarshish, as far away from Nineveh as he could go. But Jonah underestimated God's reach. As the ship sailed, God sent a powerful storm that threatened to sink it. The sailors, terrified, cast lots to discover who was responsible for the calamity, and the lot fell on Jonah. He confessed that he was running from the Lord and urged them to throw him overboard to save themselves. Reluctantly they did, and the sea instantly calmed. But Jonah's story wasn't over. God appointed a great fish to swallow Jonah, where he spent 3 days and 3 nights in its belly. There, in the depths of despair, Jonah prayed, a prayer of repentance, gratitude, and surrender. God heard his cry and commanded the fish to vomit him onto dry land. This time Jonah obeyed. He traveled to Nineveh and proclaimed God's message: 40 more days and Nineveh will be overturned. To Jonah's astonishment, the people of Nineveh believed God. From the king to the poorest citizen, they fasted, wore sackcloth, and turned from their wicked ways. Seeing their repentance, God relented and spared the city. But Jonah wasn't happy. He sulked outside the city, angry that God would show mercy to such a wicked people. God used a plant to teach Jonah a lesson. When the plant provided him shade, Jonah was glad. But when God caused it to wither, Jonah complained. God then confronted Jonah. "Should I not have concern for the great city of Nineveh, in which there are more than 120,000 people who cannot tell their right hand from their left, and also many animals?" The story ends here, leaving us to reflect on God's boundless compassion and Jonah's struggle with it. Jonah's journey is a powerful reminder that God's mercy is not limited by our prejudices or preferences. It's for everyone, even those we might think least deserving. And no matter how far we run, God's love and purpose will always find us. So, what will you do when God calls you? Will you run, or will you trust the one whose mercy is big enough for all?